What's going on, Ole Miss fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Rebel Talk. It's your host Zach Moreth. I'm back with Parks Burcham. This is our third episode of the week. So feel free to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff to keep the content flowing and keep our channel consistent as we head down the stretch here. We got the Egg Bowl coming to you guys on Friday at 11 a.m. Parks will be there covering the game, so be sure to tune into our social media for all your information there. And at the same time, we're battling with this Lane Kiffin dilemma, which doesn't seem to want to end anytime soon. But hopefully on Saturday, someone forces him to make a decision if that's not himself. And we'll find out. I don't know. It feels like a coin flip right now. We've broken down the entire situation for several days on end here. Florida's still confident, which I don't think is true. LSU's still confident, which I think might be true. And the Ole Miss people are confident if they win this game, which I think I tend to lean the most. Out of all the options, I tend to weigh that one the heaviest because I just don't think you can turn away from your playoff team. And I don't think the administration would let him coach the team unless he signs for the future. So there's a lot at stake there, a lot at stake at this game, which we're going to break down for you guys. But first and foremost, Parks, I texted you about 10 minutes ago. Now we're out on the air. So you ready to go, man? How you feeling today?
I'm doing good. I'm ready whenever you are.
Let's do it, bro. All right, Lane Kiffin, let's get it out of the way. Anything new? Are you leaning a new way? Did you wake up and have some crazy thought in your mind, Parks?
I don't have a new thought. I still think it's LSU, but I do think I did wake up thinking Ole Miss has more than a chance that I've even been giving them this past week because, like you said, he wants to. Who doesn't want to coach in the playoffs? Like, I think Sam, one of the reporters that does a lot, the Ole Miss media, asked him if he would like to do that earlier this week, and he was very adamant about wanting to coach in the playoffs. So, and I think he's done great stuff for us. Like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to like him the same if he stays, but I'll still respect him because he has done a lot for this program. But he's going to have to do some rebuilding with the relationship with fans, with everybody, if he does decide to stay after what's went on.
Right. And I've said this, but he always talks about the lack of structure and just how wild the current state of college football is. And unfortunately, he's playing right into that. He's undergoing a coaching search like we've never seen before, and one that's going to end up breaking a lot of hearts and screwing some people over in the process, regardless of wherever he decides. But that's a story for another time. We've covered this for the past week. There's a podcast from yesterday and the day before. There isn't any new news. So if you guys are interested in strictly Kiffin stuff, we ultimately just repeating ourselves. So go check out those episodes if you're interested. We're going to break down a little bit of this Mississippi State Bulldogs team. And the one thing I'll disagree with Kiffin, talking about how kids don't have that same passion and that same energy in the locker room for these, and they can just transfer at any moment. Well, look around the country last year, Parks. Look at those rivalry games. There were more fights than I've ever seen before. And there was nothing crazy at the Ole Miss game, but there also weren't implications like this. Not only is State fighting for a chance to be bowl eligible with Jeff Lebby, but also to take Ole Miss season completely out of their hands. They're going to be passionate. They're going to be fired up. I don't care that they have 5 wins. They're playing for Mississippi State that day. And Ole Miss sure as hell better come ready to play. Like I said on previous pods, I've heard great things with the Athletics Foundation and the distribution of tickets. So if you're thinking about it, please go. I think Ole Miss fans are going to have an awesome turnout. There's going to be a lot of blue in that stadium, including Parks, like I said. So are you ready for this, man? Are you excited to head your way down to Starkville?
I am excited because I don't know how. This is probably the biggest Egg Bowl in some time that has the biggest stakes, probably since when Mississippi State was really good in 2014. So, this really feels like everything has been building up to this. And I'm excited to see because I think a lot of people are still underrating State. They've had a bunch of one-score games against some of the greatest teams there are right now. And they can't be overlooked. Coach Lebby and the players can't be overlooked. So there's just that.
Yeah, they beat a really competitive Arizona State team to kind of kick off the season there. Played Tennessee in the overtime. That was a close game. Hung around a little bit for that Texas game. Went into overtime. Probably should have won that game. Matter of fact, they beat Arkansas. We're going to go back. That was wrong. We were wrong, guys. If you heard that, we said in a previous pod, hand up, you got me. Mississippi State beat Arkansas. It was just a really close game. It looked really sloppy for State. So it kind of goes both ways. And then the past 2 weeks, they get absolutely demolished by Georgia and Missouri, a Missouri team who's been wildly, all over the place. But again, they ran the ball. Ahmad Hardy, I think he ran for maybe 300-plus yards. So I want to start off with the first talking point of the importance of Kejuan Lacey. He's a finalist, I believe, for that award, which, recognizes the best running backs in the country. He somehow, I don't understand this, Parks. He's not, listed on any Heisman rankings. Look, I know running backs, we saw with Genty, they're not even going to really have a chance to win. But at least throw him on the list, right? He's breaking all sorts of records.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel like it's been a detriment to how the national media has covered Ole Miss athletics this past couple of weeks. Is the reason why he's not on this list, because where we should be talking about Kejuan's record-breaking night against Florida. No,
that's not the case.
No, we was too busy saying if Kiffin was going to Florida or not.
Right.
So I think a lot of the media coverage has had a lot to do with that, but these committees also, they should be able to look at the stats and be like, even if I'm not saying put him top 5, but he should be on that list at least for the things he's done this season. No one's doing it like him at that position except for the guy from Notre Dame, you could argue, but no one is doing it like Kejuan in the SEC.
No, it's not even really remotely close, with the exception of Hardy. Those two are in a completely different league. Real quick, just in terms of matchups, the game is coming off of a bye week for both teams. Mississippi State, off their last bye, played Florida and lost on the road by 2. Ole Miss played Washington State and almost ruined their entire season off that last bye, which is another early kick. So realistically, you're looking at this both haven't looked good off the bye. Does that weigh into it at all? And again, with the 11 a.m. kick, Ole Miss has played a lot at night. So hopefully you would imagine, Lane has said it, they're a morning practice team. It's just how much does that translate? And my question for you, Parks, how much do the cowbells play into this game?
I think they'll be raucous at first. I think it'll take a minute for the newer guys like Trinidad and Kejuan to be like, okay, this is how loud it's going to be. This is going to be the noise we have to deal with. But I think they'll get fairly used to it fairly quick. It's just like any other stadium. They just have a different way of being loud as opposed to any other stadium. So I think they'll be able to handle it. I think it'll be something. They've been in more hostile environments, in my opinion. Georgia is probably the most hostile environment you can go into. But I think they'll handle the cowbells pretty well after a play or two.
Yeah, that's kind of what's, making me relatively confident about it, is you go into Georgia and Oklahoma, and going into Oklahoma off a loss, that is. That crowd was electric that day. Mm-hmm. It was rainy. They still showed up. Didn't even matter. And there were maybe a couple false starts, but nothing detrimental, nothing even remotely that I thought, swayed the game. Obviously, crowd getting into it helps momentum, at the Georgia game, I guess. But it never really had an effect on, the way that Trinidad was snapping the ball, getting the ball off on time. So definitely no lack of confidence there. Like I said, I think there's going to be a really, really good showing from the Ole Miss side of things. Looking at the state roster, Shapen's been their guy. They've used Camario Taylor a little bit. Kind of, that dual threat guy would definitely probably be a little more of a threat against this Ole Miss defense. But Shapen slings it, man. He throws it really far. So if he's accurate, this could be a game. The over-under, I think, set at 62.5. This could be a game. You're looking at 30-plus points from both sides. Again, they don't – nothing crazy here. Dual running backs who both do a really good job. A couple good wide receivers, Thompson, Evans. Those are kind of their big two, have a majority of their touchdowns as well. So, look, bottom line is, how good is the Ole Miss offense going to be? Can the defense hang with that to an extent? I think that's been the bottom line for Pete Golding. You saw it against Florida, against South Carolina. They're going to give up points, but it's going to be their job to limit Mississippi State from explosive plays and stuff that's really hurt Ole Miss along the way this year. Just glancing at this roster, the schedule, what are your first impressions on the state team, and what are you expecting come Saturday, Parks?
I'm expecting a shootout, like you said. I think both teams are hungry and want this more than anything in the world right now. They're putting all the outside noise behind them, whatever's surrounding the game. They want it. They're going to fight for it. And the thing, I think our defense is our X factor this week, because I look at how they've played since Georgia, since that 4th and 1 that was heartbreaking, where we could have potentially won that game. And to me, they have played better in the second half. Like, you look at the South Carolina game, you look at the Florida game. Like, a lot of fans, including myself, were going into halftime a little iffy on them with how they had played, but they came out and didn't allow a single point scored in the second half. So I think when it gets down to the wire, our defense is going to have to come in clutch in order to keep this. Because like we've talked about, Mississippi State about beat Texas. They lost that in the last final minute. They lost Florida in the final minute. They lost Tennessee in overtime by 1 score. Like, we're not acting like they.
Right.
Like, yes, there's been some bigger teams that have done better against them, but a lot of these teams they've kept up with. They don't give up. They play till the end.
No doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt. I want to bring this kind of into the last segment into score predictions. I'm sitting at a range where I think Ole Miss wins maybe 34-30, but I really don't see a way this is a blowout. It's one of these weird rivalry games where implications are at that, like you said, the highest they've ever been. And look, I'd love for we all would Ole Miss to show up and they take care of business like 45-0. But look, that's typically just not how these things go, especially in Starkville, Jeff Levy, Kiffin. There's so many different storylines that haven't been brought to life because of the Lane nonsense. But bottom line is, when that ball gets snapped on Friday, it will be pure madness over there in Starkville. Anything on your score prediction, any remaining X factors or final touches you want to leave on this pod, my guy Parks?
My score prediction, I'm going, I think 31-24. I think it's going to be that tight. Ole Miss winning the Egg Bowl and getting a spot in the playoff, whether that'll be.
Please.
Yeah, like begging for it. But that's really it. I think it'll be nice to see how Trinidad plays early on. Because, the Cowbells are a different experience, especially for someone who's never played against in an Egg Bowl before and starting QB at that. Yeah. So I think it'll take him a little bit to get adjusted, but I think once he finds his flow, he'll be good. Keywan is just a dog. Like, he's gonna get his yards. He's gonna get. And I think something about Keywan that a lot of people don't look out for, that I still don't see a lot of people talk about, that I feel like is always important to mention, is his pass protection, his pass blocking. And he's one of the best ones in the nation for that. And it's one of his underrated moves because he is so dominant on the run as he is. But you add that on there, he is just an unstoppable person all the way around. So
it's a complete package.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, like you said, establish Trinidad with these short slants, maybe a couple screen passes early in the first couple of drives, because this Ole Miss wide receiving core is on par with Keywan Lacey, how he is as a running back. So distribute the ball like you have been all season and do your thing, man. Yeah, there's pressure here, but like, it's the situation that you've dreamed of as an Ole Miss fan, as a player. In my opinion, this is absolutely a chance to secure a home playoff game. That'll be kicked off at 11 a.m. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, Parks will be there. So tune into the Rebel Walk social media. Anything else before we get out of here, brother?
That's it for me today.
All right, guys. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and tune into the rebelwalk.com for all your Ole Miss sports needs. Hotty toddy and go Rebs.